He used to say it with a smirk. I was just playing with you. Those words destroyed her. Mila had truly loved him. Adrian Holt, the cold-hearted millionaire CEO who treated her heart like a disposable toy. He tossed her aside without explanation, without apology, without even the decency to look back. She disappeared quietly, carrying a secret he never cared to know. 3 years later, fate played its own cruel game. Adrian wasn't the same man anymore. Success hadn't filled the emptiness inside him, nights were longer, homes felt colder, and guilt, though he never admitted it, had begun to scratch at his walls. Then he saw her again. Not alone. She held the hand of a 2-year-old boy, a boy with his eyes, his stubborn little frown, his unmistakable features. For the first time in his life, Adrian felt something he had never known before. Fear, hope, and regret that punched the air from his lungs. Adrian Holt didn't believe in fate. He believed in control, structure, and the power of ending things before they became inconvenient. Emotions were liabilities. Attachment was a weakness. That's why the moment he sensed Mila growing too close, he had ended their relationship with a single sentence that still echoed in her nightmares. I was just playing with you. Those 6 words changed everything. He had watched her face crumble. He had watched her breath shake. He had watched the light dissolve from her eyes. And still, he let her walk away. Because Adrian believed he was untouchable. Because Adrian believed she would forget him. Because Adrian never imagined that the biggest loss of his life was walking out the door, that night. 3 years had passed since then. 3 long, strange, restless years. Adrian's life looked perfect from the outside corner office. Private jet, multi-million-dollar deals. The usual praise and envy that followed him everywhere. But perfection is a quiet prison, and inside it, Adrian lived with a feeling he couldn't name. Some days it was emptiness. Some days it was irritation. Some days it was a phantom ache he couldn't root out. But every day, it was loneliness. He blamed stress. He blamed workload. He blamed everything except the truth. He had broken something he never deserved in the first place. Mila. He hadn't seen her since. Not once. Not in the office. Not in the city. Not even on social media. She had vanished as if she'd never existed. Adrian told himself. That was good. Clean. Final dot. But during late nights, when his world felt too silent, he found himself remembering her laugh, her softness, her warmth, and how stupid he had been to treat her like a game. It was a Tuesday morning when fate decided to snap his world open. Adrian was stepping out of a board meeting when he saw a flash of familiar hair color near the lobby. He frowned, his brain recognizing something before his body could respond. He paused, mid-step, trying to understand why his chest felt suddenly tight. Then he saw her. Mila. Standing near the reception area, holding a toddler's hand. The world didn't just stop, it collapsed. Mila looked older but stronger. Her hair was tied loosely, her clothes simple yet elegant. There was a glow to her he had never seen before, a softness that wasn't for him anymore. But Adrian barely saw any of that. His eyes were locked on the child, a small boy, 2 years old at most, with messy dark hair, big curious eyes, and a pout that was painfully familiar. Adrian's pout. The boy tugged on Mila's sleeve. Mama, up. His voice was sweet, demanding, innocent. Mila lifted him easily, kissing his cheek, and Adrian felt something sharp twist inside him. Wonder, disbelief, regret. All at once, Mila turned slightly, and that was when her eyes met his. She froze. He froze. The air got heavier, hotter, louder. Her breath caught. His throat closed. His voice cracked before he could stop it. Her expression hardened instantly, a shield slamming into place. She shifted the boy protectively in her arms, turning her shoulder toward Adrian as if shielding her son from a man she didn't trust. What do you want? She asked quietly, emotion hidden behind steel. He swallowed. Is he? That's none of your business. She cut sharply, but the boy, curious and innocent, looked at Adrian with those unmistakable Holt family eyes. Mommy, who's that man? Adrian felt his heart drop into his stomach. Mila's jaw tightened. Just a stranger. Sweetheart. Her words sliced through him. A stranger. To her. To the boy. To the life he never knew existed. He took a step forward before stopping himself because even he knew he had no right. Is he mine? Her eyes filled, not with softness, but with pain she had carried alone. You don't get to ask that. He exhaled shakily. Mila, please. She shifted the boy in her arms. You didn't want a future. You didn't want responsibility. You didn't want me, and you certainly didn't want a child. Adrian flinched. I didn't know. You didn't care, she corrected quietly. And he had no defense because she was right. He watched as she turned away, walking toward the exit, his heart hammered in panic. In desperation he had never felt in his life. Wait. She didn't stop. But the little boy looked back over her shoulder, curious, innocent, confused, his tiny hand lifted in a shy wave. Adrian's chest cracked open. That small gesture hit him harder than any business failure, any financial loss, any heartbreak he had ever caused. The child he might have loved, the child he never met, the child who might be his, and he had no place in that child's world, not yet, maybe not ever, but for the first time in his existence, Adrian Holt wanted something he couldn't buy, couldn't demand, couldn't control. He wanted a chance to know the boy, a chance to apologize, a chance to fix the unforgivable, a chance to be human. And destiny wasn't finished with him yet, because this encounter, this painful, beautiful, terrifying moment, was just the beginning. Adrian didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. He replayed the moment again and again, the sight of Mila holding the boy. The shy little wave, the look of fear and disappointment in her eyes. It carved itself into him like a scar from the inside out. Every deal, every contract, every sharp success he once used to fill the silence in his life suddenly felt small, pathetic, worthless. He had money, he had power, he had everything except the one thing he desperately wanted now, a chance to be in his son's life. But life never hands out second chances easily, and certainly not to men like him. The next morning, Adrian didn't go to work. Instead, he stood in front of a cafe he remembered Mila used to love, back when her laughter filled the spaces of his cold world. He never noticed until it was gone. He waited. 2 hours passed. Nothing. 5 hours passed. No sign. He was about to leave when he saw a familiar stroller approaching. Mila pushed it slowly. The little boy sitting inside, kicking his feet happily. Adrian's breath caught. His palms grew cold. But when Mila saw him, her face drained of emotion. She didn't speed up. She didn't slow down. She didn't show fear or anger or softness. She simply braced herself. "Why are you here?" she asked, stopping several feet away. He swallowed hard. "To talk? We have nothing to talk about." "I have everything to talk about," he said, voice breaking, despite his attempt to steady it. "Mila, I know what I did. I know I was cruel. I know I threw away something beautiful. Something I didn't deserve." She flinched. He stepped closer but kept distance because he knew she didn't trust him. "Please, at least tell me his name." Mila hesitated. She looked down at the boy, who was sucking his thumb, blinking up curiously. Finally, she whispered, "His name is Liam." The name hit him like a punch. Beautiful, strong, perfect, his son. "Liam," Adrian repeated, voice trembling. It felt unreal on his tongue. Can I say hello?" Mila tightened her grip on the stroller. "For what, Adrian? So you can break him the way you broke me?" He shook his head quickly, desperate. "I would never." "You already did," she whispered. Silence wrapped around them like a weight. People walked by. Cars honked. Life moved on, but for the three of them, time stalled painfully. Mila knelt beside Liam. "Sweetheart, say hi." Liam blinked at Adrian. "Hi," just one syllable. But Adrian felt everything inside him crumble. "Hi, buddy," he whispered softly. "You're really amazing." The boy giggled at the compliment, innocent and unaware of the depth in Adrian's shaking voice. But Mila was watching, and she wasn't fooled. She stood straight again, shoulders stiff. "That's enough. Mila, please," he said, stepping forward. "I want to know him. I want to help. I want." She laughed bitterly. "Where was this want when I needed you? When I told you I loved you and you said you were just playing with me? When I found out I was pregnant and realized I was going to raise a child alone?" He froze. She had never said those words before, not even 3 years ago. When she disappeared, she had been completely alone. He opened his mouth but nothing came out, because there was nothing he could say that didn't sound small. "You don't get to walk back into his life just because you suddenly feel lonely," she said softly. "You don't get to fix your loneliness with my child." Her words shattered him. But it was the truth. He realized then that wanting something wasn't enough. Wanting forgiveness didn't erase the damage. Wanting to be a father didn't undo the abandonment. Mila turned the stroller away. "Goodbye, Adrian." "No," he whispered, voice shaking. "Please don't say that." But she walked away without looking back. And Adrian felt something inside him collapse. He didn't chase. He didn't yell. He didn't threaten. For the first time in his privileged, calculated life, he simply broke. Days passed. Adrian couldn't focus on work. He messed up deals, yelled at assistants, lost sleep. His mind was drowning in memories, Mila's trembling voice, Liam's innocent eyes, the realization that he was now the outsider of his own child's life. He waited outside the cafe every morning, hoping, praying to see them again. One morning, he finally did. But this time, something was wrong. Mila was crying openly, painfully pushing an empty stroller while talking to someone on her phone. Adrian rushed forward without thinking. "Mila, what happened? Where's Liam?" She gasped when she saw him. "Adrian, Liam is in the hospital." His heart slammed in his chest. "Hospital? Why? What happened?" Mila covered her mouth in a sob. "He stopped breathing last night. I don't know what's wrong. They said he's critical." They don't know if she choked on her words. Adrian felt the ground tilt beneath him. Without a second of hesitation, he grabbed her hand. "Take me to him." She didn't argue, didn't push him away, didn't pretend to be strong. She nodded, and together they ran. When Adrian entered the pediatric ICU, the air was so cold it felt like winter. Machines beeped steadily, nurses whispered urgently, and in a small bed surrounded by wires and oxygen tubes, Liam lay unconscious. Too small, too fragile. Adrian felt something break so violently inside him he had to hold the doorframe to stay upright. Mila rushed to Liam's side, taking his tiny hand. "Baby, mommy's here." Adrian approached slowly. Every step felt like walking through cement. "Mila, what happened?" "They don't know yet," she whispered through tears. "He just collapsed at home. They said he might not make it." Adrian staggered back, as if struck. How could life be this cruel? To Mila, to Liam, to a child who never got a father because of his stupidity. A doctor walked in. "Are you the father?" Mila stiffened. Adrian whispered, "Yes." For once Mila didn't correct him. The doctor continued, "We need permission for an emergency procedure. It's risky, but without it, he may not survive the night." Mila's knees buckled. Adrian caught her before she fell. He looked at the doctor with a strength he didn't feel. "Do whatever you have to. Save him." The doctor nodded and left. Mila trembled in Adrian's arms, whispering, "I can't lose him. He's all I have." Adrian held her tighter and whispered, "He's all I have to, even if I don't deserve him." She didn't answer, but she didn't pull away. Hours passed like years. The surgery was long, too long. Every tick of the clock sounded like a warning. Finally, the doctor returned. Mila stood up, shaking. Adrian grabbed her hand instinctively. The doctor removed his mask. "I'm so sorry," he said softly. "We did everything we could." The world stopped. Mila collapsed with a scream that tore through the hall. Adrian froze, unable to breathe, unable to think, unable to exist. He felt the universe rip apart as the doctor finished quietly. Liam didn't make it. For the first time in his life, Adrian Holt cried, not silent, controlled tears, but a raw, broken, helpless sob that came from the deepest part of him. The part he destroyed the night he told Mila he was just playing. Now the universe had played with him, and it took everything. At the funeral, Mila stood alone beside the small white coffin. Adrian stood several feet behind because he knew he didn't deserve to stand beside her. When the ceremony ended, she turned to him. Her face was pale, empty, emotionless. "You don't have to follow us anymore," she whispered. "You don't have to try." He wiped a tear from his jaw. "Mila, I know I can never fix what I broke. I know I'll never be forgiven, but please, don't push me away now." She looked at him with the saddest eyes he had ever seen. "Adrian," she whispered, voice trembling, "I'm not pushing you away. I'm just done." His chest tightened painfully. "Mila, I don't hate you," she said. "I don't love you either. I'm just tired. I need peace. And you're a reminder of everything I lost." Her words didn't cut him. They destroyed him. She stepped back, then another step, and another, until she was gone. Adrian stood alone in the cemetery, staring at the small grave that held everything he never knew how to value. Money couldn't fix this. Power couldn't undo this. Regret couldn't bring back the life he never got to be part of. Liam was gone. Mila was gone. And he deserved every piece of the pain. That night, Adrian returned to an empty penthouse, colder than ever before. For the rest of his life, he visited Liam's grave every week, leaving a toy or a flower, always whispering the same broken words. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." But the wind never answered, and forgiveness never came. If this story touched your heart, don't leave without showing some love. Hit the like button to support more emotional stories. Subscribe so you never miss the next heartbreaking episode. Turn on the bell icon for instant updates. Share this video with someone who loves deep, emotional storytelling. Your support helps these stories reach more hearts.